Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Front Page on Bold. This is me, Moizur Rahman, signing in, and we will be bringing you news from all across the world. Without wasting any time, let's talk about the DG ISPR Major General Ahmed Sharif's Chaudhry's interview, where he has said that India is using state-sponsored terrorism as a policy against Pakistan. We bring you a powerful statement from the Pakistan army that lays bare India's state-sponsored terrorism, unmasks the extremist threat from the Khawarij groups that India supports, and reaffirms Pakistan's unshakable nuclear deterrence. In a hard-hitting interview with the foreign outlet, the DG ISPR Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry delivered Pakistan's position with clarity. He stated that India has adopted terrorism as a state-sponsored policy against Pakistan, particularly targeting Balochistan and other regions through funded militant networks. This comes just days after a devastating attack in Waziristan where 16 Pakistani soldiers were martyred. The Taliban Pakistan, a banned group known as Fitna al-Khawarij, claimed responsibility, but the trail, according to Pakistan's top military spokesperson, leads straight to New Delhi. Pakistan firmly believes India is directly involved in supporting and financing terrorist attacks, he said, naming Ajit Doval, India's national security advisor, as the key architect of India's regional destabilization strategy. These groups have no link to Islam, humanity, or Pakistan, he stressed, adding that the authority to declare jihad lies only with the state and not self-declared militias and rogue elements such as the Fitna al-Khawarij. He linked many of these groups to Fitna-e-Hindustan, symbolizing the Indian-backed terror networks causing unrest inside Pakistan. The ISPR chief didn't stop there. He also condemned Israeli aggression against Iran and reaffirmed Pakistan's diplomatic and political support for Muslim nations under attack. Pakistan views any aggression against Muslim countries as a direct threat to regional peace, he declared. On the question of Pakistan's nuclear deterrence, the message was loud and clear that Pakistan's nuclear capability is secure, undefeatable, and symbolizes national defense and strategic balance. He added that Pakistan remains a responsible and declared nuclear power, fully committed to global norms but unwavering in the defense of its sovereignty. In the midst of India's proxy war, extremist threats, and foreign aggression, the statements make it clear that Pakistan is confronting it all with strength, strategy, and clarity. From Waziristan to Gaza, Pakistan stands firm in unity, defense, and deterrence. We will continue to discuss this topic in further detail because Fitna al-Khawarij, which is an Indian-backed terrorist group, is a threat to Pakistan as well as the entire region, and India has been involved in destabilizing the entire region. And not just that, but India has been exporting terrorism to borders that are far, far away from its coast, such as Canada, and we've been talking about this in great detail. So now let's move to another very important topic regarding the region, where Pakistan has addressed the United Nations on Afghanistan security concerns, and Pakistan's ambassador to the United Nations delivered a stark warning to the international community yesterday, urging action to prevent Afghanistan from becoming what he called a breeding ground for terrorists. The address highlighted growing security concerns along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border and called for global burden sharing and addressing regional challenges. Pakistan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ahmed, delivered a comprehensive address to the United Nations General Assembly yesterday, outlining serious security concerns emanating from Afghanistan and calling for international action to prevent the country from becoming a terrorist safe haven. Speaking during a plenary session on the situation in Afghanistan, Ambassador Iftikhar emphasized that terrorism from Afghan-based groups poses threats not only to neighboring countries but to regional and global security. His remarks come in the wake of recent cross-border incidents, including security operations last week that eliminated at least 30 militants attempting to infiltrate through the Pakistan-Afghanistan border in North Waziristan. The ambassador specifically highlighted the threat imposed by the Fitna al-Khawarij or Taliban, describing it as the largest United Nations designated terrorist group operating from the Afghan soil with approximately 6,000 fighters. He warned that the TTP's actions or Fitna al-Khawarij's actions, combined with cross-recruitment between various terrorist organizations, including the ISIS, represent significant threat to regional stability. He said that with cross-recruitment between various terrorist groups, including Fitna al-Khawarij, the Daesh known as the ISIS, The TTP or Fitna al-Khawarij poses a threat not only to our national security but the region and the world. Ambassador Iftikhar stated during his address and also said that Pakistan has experienced a notable increase in cross-border security incidents since the Taliban returned to power in Afghanistan in 2021, particularly affecting the border provinces of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan. The ambassador noted that the terrorist groups are increasingly using sophisticated weapons and equipment in their operations against Pakistani targets. The Pakistani representative also highlighted evidence of collaboration between the Fitna al-Khawarij and other militant groups, including the Balochistan Liberation Army or Majid Brigade, known as the Fitna al-Hindustan, aimed at disrupting strategic infrastructure and economic development projects within Pakistan. Beyond security concerns, Ambassador Iftikhar addressed the humanitarian and economic challenges facing the region. He noted that Pakistan has hosted millions of Afghan refugees for decades and continues to provide protection despite resource limitations. Since August 2021, an additional 1 million undocumented individuals have crossed into Pakistan, creating various challenges, especially including the law and order concerns. The ambassador called for more equitable international burden sharing in addressing these challenges. He further emphasized the need for reviving Afghanistan's economy and banking system, including unfreezing financial assets to enable trade and investment. Pakistan has also expressed commitment to expanding trade relationships and pursuing regional connectivity initiatives, including the Tapi Pipeline, Kasa 1000 power project, and the Uzbekistan-Afghanistan-Pakistan railway line. The ambassador also mentioned potential extension of the China-Pakistan economic corridor to Afghanistan as contributing to regional development and peace. The address concluded with a call for practical and pragmatic engagement through dialogue and diplomacy, emphasizing that Afghanistan should not be abandoned by the international community. Ambassador Iftikhar also stressed the importance of actually supporting an Afghanistan that respects all of its citizens regardless of their gender, ethnicity, political affiliation or religion. This United Nations address reflects Pakistan's ongoing efforts to internationalize the concerns about cross-border terrorism while positioning itself as a constructive partner in regional stability efforts. The speech comes amid continued diplomatic engagement between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and this includes recent talks between the foreign ministry officials from both the nations, focusing on trade, security and connectivity issues. So this is very important, and we've been saying this repeatedly in our show, that a stable Afghanistan not just means a stable Pakistan, but it also brings a lot of stability to the entire region. And when Afghanistan suffers from instability, it impacts the entire region, and especially Pakistan, because Pakistan shares huge cultural as well as a very long border along the western side with Afghanistan. So the world needs to work together and needs to do some sharing and equitable sharing actually. And we've been saying this repeatedly, as well as Pakistan has been saying this as its stated state policy, that the world and the international community needs to do equitable burden sharing with regards to Afghanistan, because throughout the history, especially in the last 5 decades, Pakistan has actually bared the brunt of this entire conflict as well as an unstable Afghanistan. And there is a limit to everything, and the time has come that the world joins Pakistan's hands in terms of ensuring that a stable Afghanistan returns to the international community, where they can come at par with the rest of the world. We will continue to discuss this topic in great detail, but now let's jump on to another very, very important diplomatic engagement that has happened between Iran and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So let me tell you that in a significant diplomatic development, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi met with the Saudi Crown Prince and the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, in Jeddah yesterday, marking a very, very significant and the first high-level Iranian visit to the kingdom since the recent 12-day conflict between Iran and Israel. The meeting suggests regional powers are working to maintain stability despite recent tensions. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi concluded what officials described as fruitful talks with the Saudi Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, in Jeddah on Tuesday, in the first visit by a senior Iranian official to Saudi Arabia following the intense 12-day conflict between Iran and Israel that ended with the United States mediated ceasefire. This very important meeting comes after a period of significant regional tension that began on June the 13th, when Israel launched what it called preemptive strikes against the Iranian nuclear facilities facilities and military installations. The bombardment resulted in casualties amongst the Iranian military commanders, nuclear scientists, and civilians. Iran responded with missile barrages targeting the Israeli infrastructure, causing widespread damage across several Israeli cities. The conflict escalated further when the United States of America conducted airstrikes on 3 Iranian nuclear facilities before ultimately mediating the ceasefire agreement. Iran's response included a missile attack on a United States airbase in Qatar, which drew condemnation from Arab nations as a violation of the Qatari sovereignty. According to the Saudi press agency, Araghchi and Crown Prince His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman reviewed bilateral relations and discussed the latest and regional developments in the efforts being made in this regard. The Crown Prince expressed hope that the ceasefire agreement would contribute to regional security and stability, emphasizing the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's support for diplomatic dialogue in resolving the disputes. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghachi confirmed that the talks were productive, with Araghchi expressing gratitude to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for condemning what Tehran characterized as an Israeli aggression. The Iranian Foreign Minister also held meetings with the Saudi Defense Minister Khalid bin Salman and the Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud. The diplomatic engagement reflects the broader rapprochement between Tehran and Riyadh that began with the China-brokered agreement in 2023 to restore formal relations after years of strained ties over regional conflicts and mutual accusations of destabilizing activities. This meeting suggests that despite the recent conflict, both Iran and Saudi Arabia remain committed to their diplomatic normalization process. The timing is particularly significant as the Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has indicated an openness to dialogue with the United States of America, though he emphasized that the trust remains an issue following the recent attacks on Iranian facilities. In a Financial Times article published on Tuesday, Araghchi accused Israel of preferring a conflict over diplomacy while stating that Iran remains interested in diplomatic solutions. However, he noted that Tehran has good reason to have doubts about further dialogue and called on the United States to show genuine readiness for equitable accord. The Iran-Saudi meeting represents a crucial test of regional diplomatic resilience and could influence broader Middle Eastern stability as various parties assess the aftermath of the recent conflict and explore paths forward through diplomatic channels. So this is a very important development in the context of the stability across the Middle Eastern region. This engagement between Iran and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia can really help to pave a way towards a long-standing stability across the Middle Eastern region, and this stability in this part of the world will bring great dividends to the entire world, because Middle East is basically the biggest producer of energy products, and whenever you would have seen that whenever the Middle East gets destabilized, it has a spillover impact on the entire global economy. So with stability across the Middle Eastern region, this would have great dividends for the entire world, with the hope that efforts will actually continue to explore paths forward through diplomatic channels and towards a stable Middle East. We sign off from today's show. We hope that you have a wonderful day ahead, and please take a lot of care of yourself. Do share your feedback on both social media networks. This is me, Moiser Rahman, signing off. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.